Hi people! Isn't that an awesome tree? It's like the twins. Happy new moon in Gemini. So we've got the twins. And Gemini's playful. It's playful. It wants to communicate. Wants to move around. It's mutable air. So it's intellectually stimulating. Sometimes a little too much. If you have prominent Gemini energy, you may get really anxious. I always try to tell people with Gemini energy to take time to ground, to meditate, to take deep breaths. Yeah, they can suffer from some anxiety, any stimulating air. Even us going through these transits with a lot of Gemini energy. Oh, let me plug up my headphones because the wind's insane. And it kind of was interfering yesterday with the video. There we go. Alright, so hopefully that's better. So I hope you guys are doing well. This new moon is in Gemini, accompanied by the nodes that just changed. The north node of the moon suggests our life purpose when we're born. So any babies that are being born this year will have it in, from now on, I guess it's 18 months out in Gemini. We also have Mercury in Gemini, which is what we're processing, and it rules Gemini. So it's our processing and our communication. Let's see, and then we have Venus there as well. So a lot, I think, is happening about relationships and sorry guys, I never wants to stand. And maybe twin-like energy, kind of the twin flame stuff that was going on back in 2016ish. It's I believe that energy is just trying to connect so that we all get put in the right places. But so it really seems to be a thing right now because Gemini rules the twins, right? But ultimately the twin flame thing was to bring us back to ourselves of unconditional love, and we can easily forget these lessons. We can easily go back to all of these programmings we've been in. So unconditional love of self, because that is how we ultimately change relationships, change the imbalances that we've created in this world that have leaked down to our homes and families, which are getting, I can't say that. I was going to say which are getting a redo with Jupiter and Pluto in Capricorn, but that's my personal thing. It's in my 4th house, so it's kind of different for everyone. But it's tearing down the structures, and there's so much structures built around family is everything, which family is great, it's beautiful and it's wonderful, but don't be afraid to, if your family is not supportive of your path or supportive of who you truly are as a person, don't be afraid to, get with those friends that are sharing the same energy, right? So twins, they have the common energy. And so I think ultimately that's the big change that's going on with this new moon, is that we're being more connected to energy and not stuck in these old paradigms of, yeah, but that's my family. And I'm not telling people to leave their families. I'm just using it as an example because it's a pretty real one for most of us. A lot of times our family is our biggest teachers, and other times they're a great support, which they should be, but usually parents and children don't share the same interests and stuff like that. But I don't know, no matter who you're around, roommates that don't share the same values or energy, It's just, don't be afraid to surrender and flow, paying attention to that energy, to where the energy is so mirrored and comfortable. It flows better for whatever the destined path is, if that makes sense. Because Saturn in Aquarius is here to definitely clear karma and to create this new world in Aquarius. And we need to be with, our tribes. We need to be with the ones that mirror to us and reflect as well the light in us, and shine light, not be afraid to shine light on our shadows to help us to better ourselves in this path. So it's playful energy, it's intellectual energy, it's mutable and adaptable, which is great. So we don't get too it's this way or the highway, this way or no way, which we find a lot in families, in parenting. And it's, one Bible scripture I love to quote is, the young will teach the old, And children are innocent and beautiful and have so much wisdom for us. But we as adults have to take responsibility to create a world where we're supportive of that beautiful energy as well as protective. There's a lot of awful things going on in the world with children and trafficking. And it's a huge time to change a lot of corruption. And so we need to connect with the right tribes and get with the right people and not let old belief systems hold us back, but I just finished college and I got married like I was supposed to, but why is everything so fucked up? And why am I feeling led this way? I'm sorry that we've been doing these traditions and they're beautiful. There's nothing wrong with college. It's great. It's education. It's light. And there's nothing wrong with marriage is beautiful. Love is beautiful. All right. Commitment, all that stuff. But if we get outside of ourselves and feeling of the energy that our true authentic selves, then we get on the wrong course. Right? Either way you'll learn, but I do believe from experience recently that we can get detoured off of our light course. If you consider yourself a light worker, a light being, or here to just inspire and show love, there's definitely forces that will try to intervene and distract us. And it's usually in those old traditional ways of, no, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, da 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 da. Oh, fillings, no, what's that? Get out of here. You better use your head. None of these old traditions were telling us to actually pay attention to our energy and our feelings. It was more like, suck it up, don't be a pussy, don't be a sissy, such an imbalance with men and women. It's crazy. So I'm so glad to see that the twin energy, I guess is what I'll call it, because Gemini rules the twins. I believe it rules the hands as well, which this would make a butterfly, right? So it frees us being in that like energy. We feel totally at ease, totally comfortable, totally on the level with, the tribe that we're supposed to be with. When we're in our authentic place and not listening to, outside sources of, but you don't even know them. Why would you do that? Or all the stories. And speaking of stories, with Neptune and Pisces, and this being, a spiritual time of change as well, as old traditions are falling away, mental health comes up. Mental health always comes up when you're dealing with 12th house stuff, which is spiritual things. I want to put on my glasses, but at the same time, then you guys see my tablet, and that just weirds me out. It just is so weird. Anyhow. So what was I saying? Yeah, so if when you're dealing with an astrology 12th house stuff, is spirituality. It's also music and drug use well, it doesn't have to be drug use, but like any kind of escapism, because it's the realm of like dreams and other dimensions, okay? Spirituality is something we feel. Energy is something we feel, and not necessarily concrete that we can see, right? Not necessarily. There are hallucinogens, there are things that open up the third eye, there are things we see in dreams, but they're not here, you know? There's sightings of ghosts and spirits, but they're not actually here. Uh-oh. Pause. 11:22. This is the fire truck. Sorry about that. But this tree! Ow! So, anyone on a spiritual path, especially right now, like I was speaking about on my video yesterday, if you caught it, navigating the spiritual life is, you know, something that's always used by faith, right? Experimenting with plant medicines, and with filling of energy, since we haven't been taught, and getting out of our minds more than in our bodies, because the body knows. The guidance system of our body is so amazing, right? It is so freaking amazing. It'll give you the nudges, it'll give you the warnings if you don't feel safe, if you're paying attention. But so mental health is really peaked right now because of the state of the world. All of a sudden our whole world's changed. You know, people that relied on, like, you know, all of us like to go out to eat, you know, and probably go to the mall and stuff like that. Like, I don't enjoy the mall that much, honestly, but there's times where I do, you know. There's times where I want to, especially outdoor malls like Fashion Island over here. But so with everything closed and with people losing their jobs, like, mental health has peaked, as well as people on the spiritual path. We really have to watch it, because we're so willing to use our faith versus concrete evidence, because we're feelers and because that's where we found the truth. But we can very easily right now get into traps of our mind. So as long as you're feeling and not so much attaching a story to something you might experience, you know, which is hard, because like our whole lives, you know, well, depending on the person, but we've been taught to use our minds, and our minds are beautiful, but they're just, I believe, meant to be used in more powerful ways than we've been shown, you know, and not for the worry and the creating of and assumptions and things like that. So don't be hard on yourself if you create some story and then, you know, you have a moment where you realize that that was not the case, and that you just totally were wrong and, like, you know, got it wrong or whatever. Like, it's okay. It's always okay. There's no reason to be hard on yourself ever. This is your life. It's all of our lives, right? We're co-creating, but, like, it's okay. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be embarrassed. And I know it's harder for some people than others, you know. Astrology shows that, you know. Like, if you have a moon or sun, like, in your 7th house, like, you care more about what people think, you know. And, I mean, obviously you feel it. People just care more. Taurus energy cares more than, like, say, Aquarius. But liberate yourself, you know. Liberate your mind from attaching to stories. Connect to the energy you feel and what you want to create, and be willing to receive it. Receiving it is so important, which I'm learning. And that's our feminine energy, right? So new moon, basic stuff of a new moon. It's a new start. So be ready to receive whatever magic is in the air that you want to be a part of. And push through fear. Light shines in dark places, right? So when there's fear, we're supposed to push that light through it. And easier said than done sometimes, right? But when you know that the outcome at the end of it is so liberating, and it's where your light should be, it should all be good. Let's see, what else do we have? Mars is in Pisces, so we're really taking action towards that spiritual path. And we talked about all the things in Gemini. And when it comes to money with Venus, as well as relationships, again, don't be scared and be adaptable, be fun, be playful, don't take it so serious. And we're all abundant and it's all going to be okay. It's all going to work out. Just don't be scared to take the risk and to be yourself and to move through fear. And you have support. You're supported by the light communities, and it's all good. And God always supports you. I would suggest at the sunset and sunrise that people start to sun gaze. I do it with sunglasses because I just can't, my eyes are real sensitive to it. And yeah, so cheers to everyone connecting with like-minded peeps. Yay! And what else we got? And Saturn is in Aquarius, the new world. And, there's more of this. Pluto, accompanied by Jupiter and Capricorn, is tearing down traditions, old structures, and we're seeing major change. So that's what I got for you guys for the new moon. Start something new for yourself that you'd like. Personal readings are really good. I do the free one, the Astrology Trinity, if you're interested. Knowing where your ascendant is can tell you where this new moon is happening for you. Knowing the degree is really good too. Because where it's happening, you may want to go ahead and link up with where that is activated in your chart. And say for myself, it's in the 9th house. So the higher mind, the guru, adventurous soul, right? Foreign things. And so I may want to, what I'm going to do, because I've been sun gazing, and in that I'm getting ancient Egyptian symbols that are showing. So I'm going to study that. That's foreign to me. That's like a foreign language to me, and it fucking totally piques my interest, right? So I'm going to do that. And then as the moon moves through the signs, through this week, it's going to, go into Cancer in a couple days, and then into Leo. Then you can kind of follow the moon with your life, So it's really good to get readings and to have an astrologer's advice for that. And yeah. So I love you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of your new moon. The astrologer David Palmer, the Leo King, is doing a spiritual dance music tonight that is amazingly awesome. It's like house music, and then his assistant Craig does the graphics, which are always so freaking cool, and lights and all kind of freaking, they've got it so freaking badass. It's awesome. And David always does a spiritual prayer, which is really beautiful. I love it so much. And they do tarot cards as well, so you could check that stuff out. I believe it's on highvibe.tv and possibly YouTube as well. So hit me up if you guys would like to take advantage of my free reading, or if you'd like a reading to know where this is happening for you, let me know. And do I have my tarot cards? Oh my god, I don't think I have my tarot cards. Why would I do that to myself? Okay, well, I love you guys. Have a good one. See ya. Peace.